Hello and welcome to the 18th WinScore how-to video. Here we will cover where and how to print some of the many reports available to you in WinScore. To get to the printing menu, click Printing and Payouts. And here's the print menu. It's easy to tell you're on the print menu because all the letters have a green type. So we'll start at the top and run through some of these. First is Events. Click here. An Event Summary. Click. And here's the event summary. Shows all the events, including CG number and event number, event name, method of scoring, the regular entry, the event type, number of classes if it's a Lewis class, the amount of the payout if any, the places to pay, and the number of entrants in each. This could be handy information for sheet management. Entrance in a single event. Click here. Let's say we wanted to know how many competitors there were in 5-stand ladies. So we're going to click 5-stand and then ladies. And here's our report. Printed alphabetically. Entrant number, class, and NSCA number. We can also print these in entrant number order or sorted by class. One other report we have available to us is entrance by class. Some shooters like to see this, so we're going to select Sporting Main, and then we're going to select Total Entrance by Class, and then Main Event. And here is the number of entrants by class. It's been suggested to me that the only people who really want to see this event are the sandbaggers. I'll leave that up to you to decide, but there's the report. And now let's go to the entrance printing menu. We can print list of entrants alphabetically by entrant number or by NSCA number. We're going to print alphabetically, which is almost what you usually do. Can you want to include events entered by each shooter? No. Print size, regular. Show money on report. If you were printing this list for a media person, to help with their reporting, then I would say no, I don't want to show money on our report. But this is for our use, so we're going to say yes and then continue with print. And here's our tournament entrance listed in alpha order. Shooter number, NSCA number, class, amount of payments if any, balance due if any. Are they a current member? This fellow was expired at least when I made up this tournament. And targets shot this year. Drawings. The larger shoots, especially clubs, will have door prize drawings. And typically you can either print every entrant for every CG. Typically though, it's the door prizes are for people who entered the main event, CG1. And if some clubs even have prizes for each class, so we'll sort by class. Here's our warning about the left margin appears to be set too large. The program takes care of that for us. And here are the labels: Sporting Main, sorted by class. Here's Master, A class, B class, etc. We print them on labels because it's much easier to cut them apart with a paper cutter or scissors for use in the drawing. All receipts. You would want to, if you want to open registration with 1 or 2 copies of each receipt, then this is where you would do it 1 or 2 days before registration. Select the shooter numbers you want, how many copies you want. You want them in alpha order or entrant number. You can exclude those with email if you wish. You can show the squatting or not, it's up to you. Print. And here they are, printed in alpha order. Here's Lee Davis. Shows the events he's entered in, the entry fees, the grand total. If there were NSCA dues or dinner tickets or ammo or whatever, you get the grand total of entry fees. This is the subtotal of cash options. Some clubs require shooters to pay option entry fees in cash or check. So this is where you get that amount. This is all other entry fees. and the grand total is 168. And these are the rotation assignments showing the event, the course, the time, the day, and the station number if applicable. And here's the footnote I put in. Don't forget the free lunches on Saturday and Sunday. Now we have an option here to email all confirmations. This is handy to do about a week before the shoot starts, to remind the shooters about the shoot and remind them what they're shooting and when, so you can narrow it to a range of shooter numbers if you wish, and then send the emails. I'm not going to send them here because I don't want my people on my test tournament to get these. They'll wonder why. Email all entrants. Here's where you can send an email to everyone on the shoot, let's say 1 to 999, subject shoot results, and in the message body where you put your message, you can copy and paste here if you've already got this typed in Word or something. If you have an attachment you want to send, this is where you pick it. Here's the drive. Here's, you pick your folder. I'm going to select a picture just for demonstration, and then that file is going to be attached to the email, and I'm not going to send. Miscellaneous fees. This report is handy at the end of the shoot, especially to show what NSCA membership fees we may have collected during the shoot, because that's ties us to the number of membership forms that we need to send NSCA. Checked in. Sometimes it's handy to know how many people are already checked in or how many we have left to go. We can print an alpha or entrant number order. And here's my list of shooters checked in. I have 18 marked as checked in, not marked as checked in to 0, so everybody's here, everybody that entered. Payments, click payments here, and enter a range of payments. Let's say we want payments from 10/10/2011 to 10/15/2011. Sort by type and cashier, which is the usual way to do this. We don't have any payments, so I'm not going to click that print button. I'm going to make this blank again and get out of there. State and country. It's going to be a handy report for larger shoots. This would be all tournament entrants by country except the USA, the detail. This is tournament entrants by state, and this is tournament entrants by country, just as a summary report. And last is a drop ad header. This is if you have a pre-printed drop ad form that you want to use and you want to prepare these ahead of time as part of registration, then you can print across the top of it a header that shows the shooter information. I'm just going to put this on the screen for you. It prints right across the top of the form, the name, NSCA number, class, concurrent, balance due, and shooter number. Next, we want to list teams. So we select the event, 3-man teams, and there's my teams. Exit here. Raw scores. I'm going to click that. I want to see the raw scores for the main event, and I want to see the Saturday scores. You have to pick one round or another, and I want to list them alphabetically. So there they are. Here's the station detail for each shooter printed alphabetically. You don't need this for results. You might need it to break ties, but as a matter of course, you shouldn't need to print this unless the shooters want to see it. Those pesky shooters. Event results you already know all about. Labels, scorecards, and squatting report. This is where you print labels for the main event, which typically you have a pre-printed scorecard. And we're going to print rotation 1, which is the first rotation, and we only have one flight, the one that starts on Saturday. Here's our margin message. So here's our squatting labels. Here's the people starting at station 1 at 9 o'clock. So I'll put those on the scorecards and bundle them up and send those out to station 1 with a 9 o'clock starting time. Scorecard. You can print the same information at the top of a scorecard. This got to take some wiggling around. You got to adjust the margin so that the printing appears on your scorecard the way you want it to. This takes a little experimentation, but if you had a pre-printed scorecard, then you could print this information right on the scorecard. Rotation listing is here. It shows each starting time in the rotation and how they rotate. 9 goes to 9:20, 10 goes to 10:20 for 5 stand, etc. And I skipped blank squatting form. I'm going to show you that just in case you need it. There's a blank squatting form. You really shouldn't need this. Rotation count. Course managers love this report because it tells them how many people are going to show up Saturday at 1 o'clock and Saturday at 9 o'clock and Sunday at 1 o'clock. They're going to have 18 people, so they know how to stock their traps. Squatting report. Select any CG. Here's the main event. So it shows how people are squatted for the A squads. You don't have any B squad entrance, and of course it goes through station 10. And last is schedule. This is handy, useful to print this. I'm going to include all CGs and the as of date. This is nice to print just before the shoot starts and post it outside somewhere so people can see. We want to see where Sandy Hampton's shooting. Sandy's shooting fit task at par 3 at 9 o'clock on Friday. Then she'll be at par 4 at 9:45, etc. Live stand and fit task forms. Here's where we print our scoring forms with the squads entered on them. So we're going to show 5 stand. And this is just warning me that the output is currently set to go to the screen, and normally you would want this to go straight to the printer. I want to print 5 stand. I want to print the Saturday score sheets. And print. And this is going to run through and print each starting time. And I'll let this finish. So this shows me that this squad starts 5 stand 1 at 1 o'clock, and Valerie Johnson is the first shooter. And then here's the stand 2 score sheet. Valerie rotates to the bottom, so she's in the last cage, and Margaret Little is in the first cage. So you sort those by stand and time and send them out with the 5 stand manager. Fit task works the same way. Compact forms we don't use anymore. Mitchell is a special thing for Dan Mitchell. And blank form, you may want some blank 5 stand forms to send out to the 5 stand, so that if they have walk-ups or additional people, they have some forms if they don't already have any. So here's just a blank score sheet for them to use. You can print. You can then print as many as you want to send out to them. Payouts. This would be done when the shoot is over, when you've already printed all the results, and you do a compute all, just to run through them all. And this warning is just telling you that this could take a little while for a larger shoot. It won't take very long for our shoot. We can edit the winnings if for some reason you need to change the winnings. You could even use this to pay out games if you wanted to add another CG called game payouts, one target, one course, one event called game payouts, and then you could add payouts to the people that are entered in that. Here is the payout summary. Do you wish to calculate or recalculate? Yes, we do. You want to print a list of the $600 or more money winners. Don't need that. And the thing that prints last is the event payout summary. So it shows you for each event the summary of what's going to be paid. 16 entrants, $10, $160. And here is the detail by shooter. Prints in alphabetical order. So here's Gil Ash number 9 and a CA number, and the events that he won money in, and the amount. This is the same information that would print on the check apron if you print checks. And we are going to print checks because we have some Quicken check forms that you want to order. If you don't already have laser checks, you want to order checks that are set up for Quicken. If you want to print the check number on the apron, we can do that. If your printer pulls from the bottom and you have to put the forms in there upside down, you can count the number of checks that you need and put them in the printer, turn them upside down, and then tell it, I want to print the last one first, print in reverse order. Here's a memo if you want to put something on the check apron for the shooter. You can select one apron or two. You wish to calculate or recalculate, I don't need to do it again. So here they are printed in reverse order. Joe Wheat first. Here's what would go on his check. And I asked for 2 aprons. QuickBooks export. Program will, if you wish, create an export file of checks that printed. All you need to do is enter the QuickBooks account name, the expense account name, and the sub account name, if any, and it'll create an export file for you that you can import into QuickBooks. Financial summary, usually printed at the end of the shoot for the use by the course, the range owner. This is a little different than the event summary. This shows actually how many people paid the entry fee. If I had a reduced entry and I had 2 ladies that paid the reduced entry, then their count would be right here. This shows the regular and advance entry, how much was received from that, which is 18 times 52, and the NSCA fees that we collected, total receipts, and to be paid out is the fees, and the grand total is at the bottom. If you're running a cash register and cash drawer and you're doing this all for the whole shoot, you ought to have $3,140 in that cash drawer at the end of the shoot. And mailing labels. With NSCA, you have to get mailing labels from NSCA. Sorry. Entrance. You tell the shooter range. You want an alpha order, which we probably do because the checks and all the detail is printed in alpha order. And I want to print all. You can exclude those with email addresses, meaning you're going to email the results to them, not snail mail them. And you can also, if you just want this for mailing checks, then you can limit it to money winners only. So we'll click print, the margin warning, and here's our mailing labels in alpha order. And that is how you print reports, my friends. Thank you very much for your attention.